So we start with the first look of the game. Bears get the ball. And listen, I think everybody's talked about this. I'm not the only one, but certainly you have to have the expectation that the Bears are going to try to use these backs in some kind of screen game because they're worried about the Green Bay Packers pass rush. Certainly they play zoned coverage here. And, ideally, if you're an offensive lineman, you want to see man coverage here because that means Quay's married up. And if Patrick gets rid of Quay, then from a Bears perspective, like this is Katie out the gate. Look at Kenny Clark trying to make this play. And then you just love, I just really kept this in because Jair Alexander has become one of my favorite players in the league, man. This guy he just continues to back up everything he does. They go 3rd and 1, don't get it. And in a kind of a head-scratching play here, I know you're trying to set the tone, you're trying to show what kind of team you are, but 4th and 1 here, and he jumps over the pile as if this would even count. It's not how football works. This isn't the end zone. Interesting that he jumped, especially when we have like the rugby scrum thing that has never been stopped. And, every other team's using it. I even see in practices, they have rugby scrum machines now to practice it. But anyways, 1st and 10 for the Packers. And I think Myers gets beat here. It gets blown off the ball by 97. It's just center's a really tough position. This is probably their best interior defensive lineman. You need to be able to maintain ground. You need to be able to stay on the line of scrimmage. If you do that, it's a win. Bad way to start the season for AJ or for Jones, obviously, but really for Myers. Then we go here. I don't know if we're trying to show that this isn't the Aaron Rodgers offense, so we're going to run a speed option, but it just doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. Maybe everybody gets to touch the ball in the first 2 plays. This is why it doesn't work. Bakhtiari just takes a bad angle. He gets stuck, and Bakhtiari does so many good things in the passing game, and this happens to every single player on the field at one point or another. But this is one of those deals where with Edmonds, you just don't know where he's going. And Bakhtiari just takes an angle that's tough. And so now they don't really have – they have the spill player that they want to play off of on the corner, the edge player, but the spill player takes over because Edmonds gets out there, so becomes a problem. So we go to 3rd down. I think Dobbs they have a double slant up on the bottom of the field, and they're really just trying to make sure this guy freezes or turns inside. If he freezes or turns inside, you go to Dobbs on the outside because we're playing off coverage. Easy pitch and catch for the 1st down. Great job by Jordan Love executing on 3rd down. I know it was talked about on the television copy all day yesterday, but 3rd and 4th down is really where quarterbacks make money. And, he certainly wasn't perfect all day. There's some throws he'd probably want back. But when you just talk about executing on those critical downs, really, really good player yesterday. Got the fullback in now. We talked about this as well. The defensive line for the Chicago Bears isn't that good, so they're going to have to slant. They're going to bring their linebackers down to the side. So they're going to slant from the bottom of the screen to the north or to the top, bring linebackers down. The problem is if you catch them in a slant, like if you're running a gap scheme, for example, they're going to have a real problem. So everybody slants down, and now all we have to do is make sure Elgton Jenkins takes care of Tremaine Edmonds, which he does here, and you're out the gate, right? 8-yard pickup, no problem. I wanted to show, this is why, Aaron Jones is such a special player. So you got 2nd and 3, and they run. Just completely gaggle this up. DeGuara gets smashed by the crashing defensive end. They're running another gap scheme. They're pulling the guard. And the way that Jones just bounces this out and manages to pick up the 3 yards. This is just a special play from a special player. This is from a defensive standpoint, when you look at the linebackers and defensive backs on the Chicago Bears, they're all good. They're all very, very good players. And if they're not good players now, they're certainly going to be good players. But that's just a special play by a special player. So we got 1st and 10. Again, they're doing their little slant. And we already talked about it when they slant and you catch them. It's just opportunities for big plays. This is the problem with running the slant game, especially when you know that it's going to be consistently happening. Like, in other words, if you're watching tape on this team and you see them slanting all the time, you're going to pick up tips and tells. They have calls. I guarantee you the Green Bay Packers have calls. They see this up front. They're like, oh, it's going to be a big play, right? Because you're going to get the back on the safety. You get the back on the safety, it's up to him. We got 3rd and 2. Now, this is Myers doing a good job of going downhill and attacking this player. Now, could he square him up a little bit more? Whatever. Jones knows he makes a mistake here. He needs to follow his center. He cuts in, makes a play. He looks up at Myers right here and says, hey, my bad. All right. Good block by Myers. Everyone was going, oh, what's the problem? Made a good block. If he stays outside, he's got a touchdown. We go 1st and goal. And we talk about AJ here. And AJ is a 250-pound player running sideline to sideline for the first 2 plays that he gets the ball. I don't get it. A lot of people don't get it. It happened a lot last year. They always talking about wanting to run it behind your pads. With a guy like Dillon, he needs momentum. But it's like, why put him on the edge then? Right here, Myers misses Tremaine Edmonds. I'll go back to the snap so we can make it a little more obvious. So right here, the center is going to make a decision to pull because he has to get to the play side linebacker. It's a hard ask, but you really have to pull tight around the outside block here. So Elgton Jenkins decides to go up. Now, maybe Jenkins is supposed to go to the linebacker. I know he's not. He's supposed to go to the force player. And Myers is supposed to go to the linebacker. And he just gets undercut. This happened to me against Jeremiah Trotter when we were playing Philly in 2003. Like, it happens sometimes, but not a good look, especially when AJ is trying to get something going. So we got 3rd and goal. And the Bears are just playing zone coverage. And because we release Aaron Jones into the flat, Aaron's going to essentially take 2. He's going to take the corner who's sitting on Dobbs right now. And he's also going to take the slot nickel out to the flat. And what that does is that leaves Dobbs for a double move on the safety. Jordan's got tons of time in the pocket here. I mean, this is what you're talking about. There's just nobody near him. That is a absolutely perfect pocket. Great job by the offensive line. Easy pitch and catch. You cannot give a good wide receiver in the National Football League, 3-4 seconds to get open in that kind of space on one-on-one. It's just not going to happen. Now, I put this out earlier. Chase Claypool's a guy that they were talking about picking up, and we were happy, I think on this show that they didn't for a number of reasons. I've never seen this. I'm not going to sit here and bash the guy the whole game, but it really sticks out about the kind of effort that people are putting in to win games for you. There's one, just runs right past Quay Walker. Doesn't even try to hit him. While we're looking at this play, this is a San Francisco 49ers play where you're going to bring the tight end from the other side of the ball. See Kmet. Now he's going to insert between like the guard and the tackle. And basically what they're saying is if this guy's tackle is going to go hard at the defensive end, if the defense end does anything but plays outside, then the tight end's just going to pick him up. Tackle's going to keep going. Okay. But it's all predicated on your wide receiver. Well, it's predicated on 2 things. One, your guard being able to handle the defensive tackle on his own, which he doesn't in this case. I think Devontae White does a really good job of penetrating and making sure that running back has to go east and west, not north and south. And then, Quay's not the most physical guy in the world, but I mean, come on, man. You got to put something on him. That's a terrible job by that wide receiver. Great job by the Packers defense. We got 1st and 20. This is the other thing. The poor Chicago Bears, man. They just can't get out of their own way. How many drives started 1st and 15, 1st and 20? So this was a play that could have been. I love the kid from University of Tennessee. Now, he gets humped right here by Wyatt and then ends up grabbing Wyatt's armpit and throwing him on the ground. That should have been a holding call. But here we go, Jair. Bang. Love it. Love the little extra. They turn it over on downs. 2nd and 10 here. This is what we're talking about with AJ. Okay. Someone's got to block. Now, they brought in Yannick Ngakoue, and he was a great player in this league. Honestly, he's really become a pass rush specialist the last couple of years. He ends up with tackles for loss in this game, sacks. You're just going, what? He only goes upfield. This isn't rocket science. All you got to do is crack block him right here. We don't do it. We just let him run free. We do a quick toss. Like, I don't know if they think that AJ is going to make a miss. I mean, we're lucky we're lucky this isn't a tackle for loss with a fumble with a turnover. That's how bad this play was. I think we'll see it one more time. Yeah, they're not thinking that Elgton Jenkins is going to be able to get out there because that's asinine. Here's another play. Darnell Savage just setting the tone. Beating the screen block right through him, taking the guy out, just being physical, man. It's not like we're not playing patty cake out here either. He's throwing his body around. He's 198 pounds soaking wet, but he runs a 4.38. He's using it. He's trying to be a bullet. I love it. Love the way he played. Love the swagger. Rasul Douglas the same. Both those guys played with a lot of energy. This right here is unbelievable. I mean, this is the Justin Fields stuff. You just can't figure. I mean, we had 4 sacks. We could have had 9. Now, this is what I'm talking. I'll bet you I'm being honest with you. And Jaire Alexander's not afraid of anybody. But I bet you when they call this play, I bet you this is what used to happen with like our guys when they had to go play against Dante Culpepper and the Vikings. I bet you when they call this play, he's going, "What the hell am I going to do when I get there?" Because honestly, Fields has him by 40, 50 pounds, 40 pounds at least, right? And he's elusive. It's like, what are you going to do? It's okay. So you brought the corner. Great. All you did is give me an opportunity to go run, which I'm the best at. I'd make the guy sit in the pocket and throw. So it goes to 1st and 10. Now we run the TE stunt. So we bring our guys inside, get walled off. Nice little run for him. Got to get Quay. To fight off these blocks, be more aggressive, be first to the punch, and not make those tackles 8-10 yards downfield. Okay. We've shown a play like this, kick play, 1,000 times on this show. Chicago Bears are essentially trying to fold everybody down towards the arrow, and we're basically betting that Rasul Douglas can't make this tackle, or he's going to make this tackle 5, 6, 7 yards in the backfield. He does a great job flattening this guy out, making the play in the line of scrimmage. That's a big-time play. That's the kind of plays that you don't necessarily get last year, and you got them sometimes, but it just seemed like yesterday, for whatever reason, the emphasis has been on we're going to make tackles. We're going to be the physical dominating defensive group that we can be. Rasul Douglas did a great job yesterday setting the tone as well. You just see this here and you go, I just don't even understand how he got free. Kid's special. Sean Gary here. Going to get one. Now they called a hold on this play. But it just, you have to appreciate how elusive the kid is. He really is something else. All right, I think we got another magic moment from Claypool. Watch this. Love it. Oh, gosh. Goodness gracious. All right. We'll talk about, one thing that we can work on with Quay. We talked about this last year. So Van Ness is going to duck inside the tackle, meaning that he's going to take the B gap, which means the linebacker's got to fill for the C outside. But he's waiting for contact instead of attacking that lineman and getting to the outside and closing down this hole, okay? Or at least forcing this flat where he has help with Jaire Alexander. But when you receive, instead of become the aggressor, the attacker, these are the kind of plays that can happen. Really got to work on this in particular because people are going to see this and go, we can really take advantage of this kid. Another good rush. Another great job by Darnell Savage. Here we go. Another killer play here by our man Claypool. I mean, just absolutely gets walked through. What a job by Nixon there. Love watching that stuff, man. It's so much fun to watch.